Hi there, it's Christina Quick, the Tarot Biz Mentor from the Profitable Psychic Business and Divination Academy, where I help spiritual life coaches manifest 6 and 7-figure success in their businesses. Welcome to today's video. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about spiritual leadership and what it means to be a spiritual leader and some of the signs that you actually might be a spiritual leader and you might not know it. So one of the very first ways that I started getting into spiritual leadership was learning about what it takes to become a leader. I wasn't sure that I actually wanted to become a leader, and I'm sure a lot of you are out there feeling very hesitant about becoming a spiritual leader. In fact, just this morning I was talking about this in the Lux Lightworker program that I'm currently running live. Details are going to be in the comments section below. But we hosted a 1-hour class on what it means to be a spiritual leader and what kind of goes into spiritual leadership, what are some of the fears around spiritual leadership, and we also wrote down some of our idols and people that we admire and what we admire about them. And so I wanted to come on here and make sure that I did a video about what qualities that spiritual leaders have, because a lot of you are spiritual leaders and you might just not know it. Now, I remember when I was getting into spiritual leadership, it was very, very difficult for me to see myself as a leader. I had a lot of these wild expectations of myself about what it meant to be a leader. And I thought that I would have to live this like super ultra seriously spiritual life all the time, that I would have to give up a lot of the things that I like or love that made me human, and that I would be putting myself out there in a vulnerable way, in such a public way, that I would be open to criticism. And, all of those things actually are kind of true in a way. But when we align with our divine life purpose and we think about leadership as a way of expressing our divine life purpose, leadership actually becomes something that's natural to us. And in fact, I'm sure a lot of you who are listening to this clicked on this video because you know inherently that you have leadership qualities and that you're curious if you have what it takes to become a spiritual leader. So I'm going to be talking about some of the qualities that spiritual leaders have and some of the things that we do that kind of gives you an idea that yes, you may in fact be someone who is a spiritual leader. And this all kind of relates to going back to, getting into spiritual life coaching, because when you are shifting from being a spiritual life, or shifting from, being just a tarot reader or, a psychic advisor, a lot of us struggle with that transitory jump between that and shifting into, say, spiritual life coaching, because there's a leadership role involved, and a lot of us are scared to take on that role. But so I'm going to talk about some things that leaders tend to do naturally that may give you an inclination that you are ready to make that jump. So the first thing that leaders do is that they are naturally helpful people. So they're people that are naturally going to be helping other people. Like we were talking about today, were you the kid that always put together the school projects or did the most work on school projects? Are you the type of person that sees someone in a grocery store that they can't reach something and you help them pick something up off the shelf? Are you the type of person that's going to line up first as opposed to lining up last? Are you the type of person that's going to sit in the front row versus the back row, right? So in what ways are you the first to do something? And that will show you that yes, you do have a lot of leadership abilities. If you are always the type of person that's like, I'll go first, or I'll be the first to do this, or I don't mind being an example for someone else. So another thing that leaders do is that they tend to live their lives as examples. So they tend to be naturally helpful, but they also tend to be natural teachers. So leaders really love mentoring people. They love teaching skills. They love passing on their knowledge, because it's a very fulfilling thing for people who are in a leadership role, who have made that leadership contract in their divine life purpose wheel or their divine life purpose map, right? And so if you really like teaching other people, you like talking with other people, you like discoursing, especially if you have a couple niche interests like, tarot reading or astrology or something like that. If you have these interests and you know that you like talking about them and you like teaching about them, then you are likely a mentor. And a mentor is a very, very big quality when it comes to spiritual leadership, because people are looking all over for people to teach them these spiritual skills that we have. And when people are looking to you to teach them something as a mentor, they are looking at you in a leadership role. So number three, another thing is that leaders tend to have a very pragmatic outlook on life. Pragmatism is basically where we say we're going to figure it out, right? Or things are going to work out for the highest good of all. If you truly, truly believe that, and you truly believe that things are always working out, or that the universe is co-conspiring with you for everybody's highest good, then you are a leader, because that is one of the most attractive perspectives and philosophies that a leader has, is that they are the people that are going to figure things out, right? They're not going to say, things are unfixable, or that the world is bad, or the systems are broke, or something like that. What they're going to say is, this is how we fix it. And so pragmatism is a really big part of spiritual leadership, because having that perspective that things are going to get better, or that we're going to work some things out, is really attractive to people who are looking for spiritual leadership in their life. Number four, another thing that's really important as a spiritual leader is to lead by example. And so one of the ways that we lead by example really comes in when we're talking about imposter syndrome as a spiritual life coach, or just as a spiritual advisor, someone who wants to, command $200, $400, $1,000 an hour as a spiritual coach. And leading by example is one of the key pieces that most people are missing when it comes to expressing their brand, is that they're not expressing in which ways that they are leading by that example. So for example, if you are a health coach and you specialize in holistic integration with alternative healing practices, or maybe you're more into nutrition and things like that, but you don't post any pictures of you eating healthy food, or you don't post any pictures of you going to the gym or something like that, then there is that missing link. A lot of the places, on a lot of brands that I see, is that missing link, is that living by example, showcasing the example of what you teach, the philosophy, the methods, the strategies that you teach in order to manifest a desired result, whether you are, a health and nutrition coach, or you are, say, a law of attraction coach, so talking about different ways in which you're utilizing the law of attraction in your own life. These are some key areas where if you are doing these sorts of things, that you are a leader, whether you think about it or not, whether you think you are or not. And then another one, the last one I want to talk about, number five, is going to be vulnerability and accountability. So we were talking this morning about, some of the key areas where I've personally felt like I really needed to take accountability in myself and how I am as a spiritual coach. And we were talking about certain areas like cultural appropriation, things like that, just certain areas in which maybe actions I have done have harmed, emotionally harmed other people. And that's one thing about being a leader, is that if you're the type of person to take accountability for when things you didn't necessarily come across the best possible way, or if you are the type of person that's constantly learning from your mistakes and you like to teach others what you learned from those mistakes, that also means that you are very likely a leader. So these are the five big key areas that that leadership involves, but there are so much more, and it's going to be very individual based on each individual person and what your values, your ethics, what your beliefs are about that, and about being a leader and what a leader does. And so anyways, I wanted to help you out. If you are interested in becoming a spiritual life coach, I have a free course. It is called Discover Your Soul's Calling through Spiritual Life Coaching. And it is basically a quiz that you're going to take. And you'll take the quiz and it will tell you what kind of archetypes are behind the way that you want to do business. Because there's different ways you can do business. You can do business as, selling one-on-one sessions. You can create a business that's selling content. You can create a business that's, based on selling classes and courses and workshops and things like that. And there's so many different ways to run a business. So that's why cookie cutter business instruction doesn't really work for a lot of people. That's why a lot of people who have taken business classes before taking mine have said, unfortunately, I never got anywhere until I started taking classes with you, because you really understand that building a business off is based on one's personality more so than just what works and what doesn't, right? And there are things that work for other people but might not work for others. And that's just simply because we all have different desires, goals, and ambitions, and time constraints, responsibilities in our lives that go into that. And so what I've done is I've created a quiz that will tell you what kind of business models that you can get to 6 and 7 figure success. What are some spiritual modalities or systems or pathways that you can work with in order to bring about the type of business model that you want. And it also includes a free introductory course on making the shift from being a tarot reader or a psychic advisor to shifting over into, spiritual life coaching and what's involved in that. So I will link that down below for you. And I also want to invite you to my group. I have a free group on Facebook. It's called the Profitable Psychic Business Academy. And I will also link, a link down below for you guys that you can get in there. And make sure that you come in there, because I'm not on YouTube I'm not responding to YouTube comments so much these days. It's just a time thing. But if you come over to my group, then I'm in there usually on a couple days a week, just answering questions, talking to everybody, socializing with everybody, putting up prompts, or teaching quick lessons or doing quick lives or something like that. So if you would like to interact with me more and be more social with me and our community, the Academy, then hop on over to my group, and I hope to see you there.